It's Walt. We're backstage at Lollapalooza, Q87.7, audio tree, filming everything, and Jake Bugg sitting on the couch. Jake, welcome.
Thank you.
So, how you like this go around here at Lollapalooza?
It's cool, man. It's a nice day, and it's nice to be here.
Now, you did play Glastonbury when you were only 17, something like that. That had to be, first of all, I mean, did you grow up watching a lot of the bands at Glastonbury?
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, you see it on the TV all the time, and you just think, oh man, what do I have to do to be on that stage? And it was there weren't that many people there. I'm not gonna lie, but it was nice to just see a bit of the footage.
Yeah.
And
Well, dude, I mean, it's Glastonbury. I mean, were they waving flags at all?
no, it was in a tent. It was in a tent. So.
So then no headroom there. But still, that's quite an accomplishment. I mean, and talk about accomplishments. You also had a #1 record. Your debut record went #1 in the UK. Can you put into words that feeling?
It was crazy, man. I mean, I could never anticipate that something like that was going to happen. But when it did, I mean, I remember making a few phone calls saying, yeah, the album's gone to #1. But, I still think to this day it still hasn't quite sunk in. And
right.
But, it's cool. We just get on with it and play the shows and see what happens.
Now, I've read that that light switch moment when you knew that this is what you wanted to do came while you were watching an episode of The Simpsons?
Well, that was the first time I'd ever liked a piece of music that I heard it. They didn't suddenly give me, a huge aspiration to just go pick up the guitar, but it was, gave me, definitely an aspiration to go and check out new music. Well, whatever music I haven't heard yet, I believe, it's still new to me no matter how old it is. And,
right.
And then coincidentally, my uncle came around with a guitar and showed me a few chords, and I just fell in love with it, man.
So you saw this show, and what was the song, by the way?
It was Vincent, I believe.
Oh, right, by Don McLean.
Yeah.
And you saw the show, and you hadn't played guitar at that time.
No, I hadn't, no.
Wow, that's cool. Well, look what it's done for you.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
And you get compared a lot to the Bob Dylan thing, but you say that he's not really an influence in any way. So my question then is, who are your influences? Who did you grow up listening to?
Well, everything's an influence. Whether you don't like something, there's something to take away from it, I think.
Sure.
And don't get me wrong, I think Bob Dylan's brilliant, but it's not the only person out there that can write good songs. And lately I've been listening to quite a bit of Neil Young and John Martin and Nick Drake and people like that.
Right. I had some friends from the UK, and they were really big into Neil Young. That was a big influence on their music. So it's cool that he translates across the seas.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's cool.
Can you explain the concept of two fingers, because it's not something that's generally used an expression here in the States, and people might not understand it. So
well, back home, it actually it's not a very it's weird. It's the one finger over
right.
here.
You use two fingers. I just did it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all right. It means peace in most places. So it's cool.
Yeah, except in context of this song.
But yeah, it means the finger over here.
Yeah. So how did that song come about?
Well, I wrote with my mate Ian, and we just sat in the studio, and Ian was like, so what do you do back home? And I was like, run away from the feds, or, and he's like, oh, that's brilliant, and just wrote it down. I was thinking, how is that brilliant? You've just asked me what I'm doing, and you've just wrote it down. So it was funny. I was just telling him what we do, and he wrote it down, and there it was. That was the song.
Wow, that's awesome. What was the first song that you ever wrote?
The first song I ever wrote, I can't remember the exact song. I'd imagine it was very terrible, though.
All right, so the first song that you held on to that you wrote?
There's a song on this record from when I was about 15. It's a song called Someplace. You could probably tell by the lyrics it's a little bit naive or whatever, but
right.
Yeah, it made it onto the record, so it's cool.
So has this just been a whirlwind the past couple of years, putting this record out and touring the world?
Yeah, it's been fast, man. But from an outsider's perspective, it must look like it's been a whirlwind. But for me, I live it every day, and that's the way it is, and I don't know anything else.
So what are the plans moving forward? Are you going to start going back to the studio, working on something new, or are you constantly writing on the road?
Yeah, I go back in the studio at the end of this month, back to work with Rick Rubin.
Awesome.
On a second record, and I believe I'd also like to put it out this year as well.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I love that. Why give anybody a rest? Keep the stuff churning.
Yeah, man. Music's about making records and putting music out.
Fantastic. Well, you're on the Petrillo stage later on this afternoon at 1:45. Jake, continued success, and thanks for spending some time with us, man.
Oh, thank you very much.
You got it, man.